The virtual world has arrived, whether we like it or not. And that's why I'm so excited to be able to share these video tips for you to maximize your sales conversation efforts. Notice I didn't say sales meetings, sales conversations, because whether we're virtual or face-to-face, when we set the stage and focus our sales interactions with our buyers to be a conversation, which is a two-way information exchange, we're going to get our sale further along, and it's going to be a better experience for everyone involved. This video specifically is about starting the conversation in a virtual world and making sure that it's as productive as possible. And so think about their entry into the conversation virtually. If your buyer is not an experienced purchaser in what you're offering, they might not know what to expect. And when they come into something virtual, they're expecting what they've always done, and that is looking at a screen to be educated, entertained, or maybe when they're looking for information. They might not be set up to think that this is an information exchange and they're a participant, not a judge and jury or an observer of what's going on screen. So keeping that in mind, the strategies I'm going to share with you are how to set that stage, how to lead that conversation from the beginning to make it a good experience and the right expectations to move the entire process forward. Using the tips and strategies from the previous videos on getting ready and getting your buyer ready, let's get into starting the conversation. What we need to do to lead the start of the conversation is be prepared to set expectations and explanations around who, when, what, and how. The order of those will be different depending on the situation, where you are in your sales process, who they are, how well you know them, what you're selling, etc. But these four things have to be accomplished in the first moments or minutes to earn the right for the rest of the conversation and achieving an outcome at the end. So let's start with who. Who is whatever appropriate greeting they need to know about you. People usually think about that. But more importantly, who is them? And it's you collectively with them, setting that stage. So we're in P2P selling, all of us, person to person. We're not in B2B, we're not in B2C. We're in P2P. So we need to engage with them as a person before jumping into an agenda. And that start, some people are like, oh, that's the small talk. No, it's smart talk. If you have done your preparation appropriately, you should be able to ask and engage and get them talking early in a way that is comfortable for them and on topics that are relevant and interesting to them. So who is getting both of you or multiple people all engaged in the conversation and helping break their preoccupation when they join? The when is really important to clarify as early as possible too. So if you have a set time scheduled, it's clarifying up front. I know we have 30 minutes scheduled and we will be done in the 30 minutes to allow you to move on to your next event. If a time isn't scheduled, we need to get agreement on how much time they're devoting to this. So you need to know to accomplish this objective, is it 15 minutes? Is it 7 minutes? Is it 45 minutes? And set that expectation and get their agreement, so that they can take time off of their mind and focus on the information exchange that needs to happen. The other thing we need to do very early on is talk about the how of the virtual world. We need to let them know how this works. So letting them know we're going to have a conversation. This isn't a presentation, if that's true. We need to let them know, is there something they're going to be looking at on screen? Is there something they're going to use their keyboard for? Should they have pen and paper with them? What is it that they need to do to work through this conversation? You're also going to let them know how it's going to work, what you're going to show, what you're going to be doing, the hows behind that, and any technology tips or tricks that they need to know as well. So getting that clarified up front. If you're going to be using a chat, if you're going to be using some kind of screen share, maybe have them try it right at the beginning so it doesn't become a hurdle later. And then it's the what. And what is the objective? And then what is the agenda? And if that's already been agreed on, you're confirming it one last time to make sure nothing's changed. If it's not agreed on, you're setting the expectation for it, asking for their input, because that who, what, when, and how is what is going to earn their attention and their openness to information that needs to be shared to be able to move things forward. Now, there's two other nuances important when you're virtual versus face-to-face, and that is eyes and ears. So eye contact is different. You're going to be making more eye contact with the camera lens than you are them. If you're looking at their video picture over here to read their language, that's fine momentarily, but they're going to know you're looking at them or feel you're looking at them when you are looking in the camera lens. So try to focus as much as you can on looking at the camera lens, which means you might need to position, if possible, that video that you're seeing of them as close to the camera lens as possible. And so your eye contact matters a lot. If you're averting your eyes, that's when sounds come in. We have to call more audibles, as they say in the sporting world, to let them know what we're doing. So if we're looking away, we can say something like, I'm looking over here because I'm accessing this piece of information or something. You're hearing clicking because I'm taking notes that I can reference later and share with you. You hear me scribbling on a piece of paper because I'm doing something. We have to let them know what they're hearing and they can't see, so that their brain isn't trying to figure out, what are those sounds? Who else is around? What's going on there? Because still, as people, we are physiologically wired to be making sure that we're safe. And so we want to make them feel safe by letting them not be concerned consciously or subconsciously about those sounds that they're hearing. Those are my tips on what you have control over when starting a virtual conversation. Stay tuned for the next tips when I talk more about the information exchange and how to do it well in a virtual environment.